All right, welcome folks. Welcome to another speaking practice video. So Miss To today, she's going to probably do her history topics later, but first she has to go through part one. Okay, class. So Miss To, let's do part one IELTS speaking practice first. I'll ask you something very easy, but you are not in college, no?
Yeah.
You're not yet in college, I see. So I don't think I can ask you number two or number three, work and study, that much. But I can probably ask you this one, some question. So, Mr. Tell me about your study. What do you study right now?
Well, currently my major is in English, and in my high
Wait,
school
you
I
are
studied.
already in university right now?
No,
So
in my
you're
school
planning, right?
yeah, I'm
Okay,
planning.
see. So you're planning to study English major, I see. And why do you choose to study that major? I mean, in the future.
Well, I think I have some kind of talent for language, and also I think the other subjects will not suit me well. So that's why I choose to study English.
Mm-hmm. And I see. So you can describe like what kind of school did you go to as a child?
Well, as a child, I went to a pretty normal school, but normal primary and secondary school. But when I entered high school, it was Leon from High School for the Gifted, and I
In Ho Chi Minh
have
City?
in Namic City. Yeah,
Sorry?
in my school is in Namic City.
Oh, I see, I
Yeah,
see, I
it's
see.
the same school as there. I know there's another school named the same in Ho Chi Minh City.
Of course, it's the same name. Right. My memory is not so good. Are you somehow related to the guy who got IELTS 8.0 that studied with me before? Min, right?
I don't
He's
know.
also in something like Namden, I think.
Well, I'm not sure. I know him.
I mean, never mind. But so do you study better in the mornings or in the afternoons? Or when do you study better? During the day?
Well, to be honest, I think I study better during the night because I spend most of the time at school, and whenever I wake up in the morning, I feel a little tired and exhausted. So mostly I would choose to study in the morning, in the evening. It helps me to concentrate and complete my task more efficiently.
Hmm, I see. So it means that you do it in the morning more than when the sun is down?
No, actually, uh, I study a lot when during the day, but at night
Mhm.
I study better.
I see. So you're more of a night owl, no?
Yes.
Of course, I'm also a night owl. A night owl, owl, a night owl. Those kind of birds. Anyway, now, so what are your favorite subjects then? Beside from English, yeah? Do you have any more favorite subjects?
Well, I think other than English, I think my favorite subject is probably literature,
Uh-huh.
because I think it gives me a deep insight into poems and stories. I think they somehow broaden my imagination, and mm, sometimes reading those stories does help me relax
Mm-hmm.
somehow. So I think
Okay,
it's literature.
relaxed. Okay, I see. So do you think your country, Vietnam, has an effective education system? Okay, it's a more, how can I say, a bigger picture, I mean, kind of question.
Well, I think my country has a quite effective education system, although I think it does have to change somehow in some aspects. Mm, in the school's curriculum in my country, well, I think it contains a huge number of various subjects, varying from science subjects to physical subjects.
Physical.
Physical subjects. And I think it balances students' life and study and health. Uh, Nevertheless, the physical subjects in my country, I think they do not put an emphasis on those subjects because people in my country they still believe in the importance
Mm-hmm.
of academic subjects such as
Mm-hmm.
maths or science much more than physical subjects. They think it's just a unnecessary thing to do to help.
Well, so would you advocate for having more practical classes, like having more lab work, having more hours in sports, something like that? Would you advocate for that? You know, this is a word, advocate. To advocate for something, it means that you are calling to call people's attention to something. Em có ủng hộ, em có kêu gọi con người ta để làm điều đó không? Would you advocate for having like more practical class, more practice, more lab work, more labs, more sport hours, more hours for sports, you know, more hours for doing sports for students? Do you think it's a better idea to do that instead of like theory, always theory, you know?
Well, I think I will advocate for more practice in lab or
Mm-hmm.
some practical work because in my country people prioritize learning theories and they do not um, pay much attention to
Mm-hmm.
the practical thing. And sometimes when it comes to um, reality, when they have to do something practical due to what they have learned in books,
Mm-hmm.
they may have difficulty at uh, they may have difficulty conducting those tasks.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think there should be more hours uh, for doing sports activity because besides learning academic subjects, people should pay attention to their people should rest and sometimes improve their health. And doing sports can be an excellent way for people to do those work.
Mm-hmm. All right, so would you like to further your study? You know, this is a verb to further some things. It means to finish and then advance in that thing. Like for example, to further your study means học lên cao. It means that you will continue after you got your degree. That's bachelor degree. After you got your bachelor degree, you will go on to get your master's degree or maybe even PhD degree, you know? That is called to further your study. To further, we can also say to further your career, you know. It means that to make your career advance, how would you do that? Or you would prefer to stay in one place all the time, you know, and work for like many years. So would you like to further your study? Why not?
Well, I
Or you just
think
basically finish your bachelor's and go to work and that's it? No?
well, I think I would like to further my study as long as I have any chance. Well, I have always been eager to broaden my knowledge and
Hmm.
experience as much as I can before I, get old and have to settle down entirely.
Hmm.
So I when I'm still young, I really want to have a chance to study as much as I can about as many aspects of life as I can. And I think having more knowledge it only does me good, and it also gives me a lot of opportunities to thrive in my future career and help me um, uh, to broaden my relationship with many other people who are also in this field that I'm studying. So I
Hmm.
think it's a good. I think I would choose to further my study.
Very good. So are you looking forward to working?
Well, to be honest, I think I'm in two mind about whether to about working. On one side, I think working is really amazing because I feel like when I grow up and I get to work, I will have more chances to
To earn money and to spend your hard-earned money, you know, to
yeah to
spend your hard-earned salary. But remember, working is never that fancy like people think. You know, you would be exploited a lot. Company will try to exploit you, and you wouldn't have enough time and energy to spend that hard-earned money, you know? So think twice before you wish something, you know? All right, so let's go to the next topic. All right, so topic part one, next one, it's going to be, hmm, hey, did we do 13 before?
no.
Okay, now let's try something else. Okay, let's do 30. Special special costumes or clothes. So do you like to wear special costumes or clothes? You can consider
Actually,
an yeah as a special costume. Yes,
I think we have done this before.
we did, right? Sorry.
We did.
Okay, tell me which one we haven't done. Okay, how about wallets or purses?
No, we haven't.
Okay, let's do wallets or purses. 31. Do you usually carry a wallet or a purse?
Yes, actually, I carry a purse wherever I go outside, because I have to carry with myself a lot of different items, such as like my personal items, such as an ID card or money or my phone. So carrying a purse will always, I will never forget to carry a purse when I go out, like all the time.
Okay, so have you ever lost your purse?
Fortunately, I have never lost my purse because I always put paid a lot of attention to this item because I understand that if I if I lose it, it will cause a lot of trouble. So yeah, I I will always keep my eye on my purse.
I see. You always keep your eyes on your purse. I see. Now, have you ever sent a wallet or a purse to someone as a gift? Like a gift, like a birthday gift or maybe Christmas gift or a Valentine, something like that, you know?
Yes, actually, I have sent a wallet or a purse to someone as gift several times as birthday gifts. I think this item is a much desired
Hmm.
gift because anyone will have to carry a lot of things around, like money or their phone or their.
Hmm. Now, do you think putting cash in wallets or purses is a good idea? Like a lot of people, they just put a lot of cash in there, you know? You think it's a good idea?
Well, I think it is not really a good idea. I think you should just put an adequate amount of cash into your wallets or purses
Mm-hmm.
because there are many cases when people they lose their purses and their wallets, and uh, along with that, their money disappears as well, and uh, and it will cause a lot of trouble to that person,
Mm-hmm.
as there are many cases of people stealing or pickpocketing, and
Pickpocketing and stealing. Hmm.
yeah,
That's just
so
petty. It's like petty crime, you know?
yeah, so you can put you should put a suitable amount of cash in your wallets or your purses, not too much.
Hmm. So that's also lead to the question that people use electronic wallets, you know? So what do you think of e-wallets or electronic wallets?
Well, I think it has is they have their advantages and disadvantages. Well, they can be really convenient for many people because they do not have to carry a large amount of money by on in wallets or purses, and it will it will avoid the possibility of getting stolen or getting stolen by someone.
Hmm.
But uh, electronic wallets, I think sometimes it can there are many sometimes there can be many problems with the internet or the banks that you save your money. So I think it is so I think electronic wallets they have benefits and drawbacks as
Hmm.
well.
I see. Now, so do most of your friends use wallet or purses? Because there are other forms that people keep their money, you know? It's called a clipper. You know a clipper?
No, I think no.
Like, for example, you can say money clipper. Here, it's called money clipper. So people often put money like into here, you know. It's a very simple device, you know. People just clip their money in there, and then it's not as big as a wallet. So basically, you can just put in your pocket. It won't affect your health when you sit down or something. And there are also other things you can keep your money with, but not a purse or a wallet. Like for example, some people they put money into their shirt, you know, like older people, they often do that. They put money into their shirts together with a lot of papers, you know. So not all the time people use wallets. You have to understand that. All right. So what do you think about, do most of your friends use wallets or purses?
Well, actually, not many of my friends use wallets or purses. They usually rely on electronic wallets to. They do not usually use physical wallets, but
Mhm.
instead they use electronic wallets and purses. And because they feel like it is of convenience to them. They do not have to carry much, and all they have to do is all they have to carry is their phone, and everything is settled. So they prefer to use electronic wallets and purses, and so do I.
Yes. Okay, so let's do the next one. Do you think e-wallets or electronic wallets do a better job than using apps from banks? You know, both of them are used for payment, but do you think which one is do a better job?
Uh,
Let's
well, I
say electronic wallets like Mocha or Momo, you know, these are
yeah.
electronic wallets very popular in Vietnam. But when you use apps from bank to pay, you also can scan the QR code, you know, to scan the QR code. Electronic wallets also do the same thing. So which one do you think do a better job?
Well, I think there's not much many difference. This is between electronic wallets and using apps from banks because they both have their benefits and drawbacks.
Hmm.
Electronic wallets, I think many of my friends use this kind of wallets, and they claim it to be extremely convenient, and they do not have to rely much on the bank if there is some problems with the bank. But I think using apps from banks, they also I think they have a more reliable source of keeping money, I
Hmm.
guess.
I see.
Because, yeah.
All
So
right. So I think they both do good jobs, but sometimes electronic wallets, you can actually use some discount code, you know. But for when you use apps from bank, not really, right? There's no discount code available. But sometimes I still prefer apps from bank because it's more straightforward, you know, and I can understand it how it works easily. But with electronic wallets, okay, it's a bit more complicated, even though they're discount code, yes. And you can get a cheaper price for products and everything, but still, it depends on how you choose. Now, let's move on to part two. Let's see now. So we have a few. Let's go from something a bit more easier to something a bit more difficult. I think we did number five. Let's do number six. Describe a tall building in your city you like. You should say what it's used for, what it looks like, and explain why you like it. And you have part three of tall buildings. This one should not be a problem for you. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of living in tall buildings? And do you think there will be more tall buildings in the future? think about the population growth and housing prices increasing inflation, lạm phát, and other things like that. Why aren't there many tall buildings in the countryside? And why do some people like to live in tall buildings or houses nowadays? You can choose one of them. Like there are two types of people here. One is love to live in houses, and one love to live in tall buildings, like I do. I do love to live in tall buildings though. So, yeah, we have some time for this one. Okay, Mr. Please describe a tall building in your city you like, please.
So I'm going to talk about one of the tallest building in my city. It is called Namdik Tower. Actually, it has been built recently, about just 3 or 4 years, but this has become an iconic landmark in my city. It serves as a recreational site.
A
It
recreational
attracts,
site in a city, no?
yeah, it attracts much,
Entertainment facility for the city.
yeah, it attracts much attention from the public and remains to be a place that a lot of people, both in the city and outside the city, want to visit once in their life. There are many attractions that you can visit when you are in the building. There are cinemas or playgrounds for children, and also some food shops that you can also experience there. And it has about it has about 30 or 40 floors, and it adds to its visual appeal and makes it stand out among the urban landscape in my city. I hold a special interest in this tower, not only because it is a symbol of my country's development, but also because that I can observe the whole city when on the that I can observe the whole city on the upper floors in the building, and providing it provides me with a breathtaking scene of my city from above. And I really hope in the future I will have a chance to revisit this building and learn more about it.
I see. Now let's talk about top three of tall buildings. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of living in tall buildings then?
Well, in terms of the advantages of living in tall buildings, I think it will deal with the problem of rising housing prices for many people, and also about the as a matter of fact, the population is rising. The population is rising a lot, so as a result, housing prices they also increase as well. And for many people, to own a house is not a wise choice, and they cannot afford it. So they will choose to live in tall buildings with many apartments there. So it will lower the cost of living
The
for them.
cost of living? You mean the cost of living will be lowered that way?
Yeah, the cost of housing. Yeah, I mean.
I see.
So,
How about the disadvantages of that?
well, I think living in tall buildings, maybe when in case of an emergency like if there's fire, it I think is quite difficult for people to escape. There are many cases of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are many cases of people living in tall buildings, and then in the middle of the night, there
Mm-hmm.
was a fire where they live, and uh, because there were too many people and there were too many floors, they
Mm-hmm.
cannot escape, and it leads to the deaths of many people. Uh, so I think these are the advantages of and disadvantages of living in tall buildings.
I see. Now, so talking about tall buildings, do you think there will be more tall buildings in the future?
Absolutely, I think it is quite a possibility that there will be more tall buildings in the future. Because there will be problems about rising population, and along with that will be housing prices, and it also can be people's needs. Uh, for example, as there are, the population is increasing significantly, so there will be not enough land for people to live. So when you build tall buildings, and that means there will be greater chance for people to live, as those buildings they contain a lot of apartments, and each apartment will involve a household, and it will help people to it will avoid the problem of homelessness for many people. And also, when the population rises, uh, that means there will be not enough places for people to live. So to build a house, to own a house, of it will take it will cost a lot of money for many people.
Mhm.
So tall buildings with many apartments will be a wise choice for many people
Mhm.
because they cannot afford the housing prices.
Especially your poor teacher. You know. Now, so why aren't there many tall buildings in the countryside then?
Well, I think the first reason is that in this because there is a trend of urbanization. So many people they will move from the countryside to the city, and therefore the need for houses or apartment will be not as much as in the city where there are millions of people. Um, uh, and as a result, the countryside they will have more space, more they'll have more space for people to live. So they will build house uh, instead of many tall buildings, and also tall buildings. I think they do not serve any purpose in the countryside. However, in the city, they will be of much importance as recreational sites or buildings uh, buildings for living. So I think in the countryside there are not. That's why there are not many tall buildings.
Hmm. So why do some people like to live in tall buildings or houses nowadays? There's a preference, you can see clearly in this question. But why? What is the reason? There's a huge preference here, you can see, yeah? Okay, beside from what you just said, now, so living in tall buildings, people can enjoy the view, the great view of the surrounding areas, right? And it's also, I think it's it's a fashion, how can I say, a fashionable trend actually, a choice because of fashion, because it's like a trendy thing, I think. What do you think? The people live in tall buildings, but on the other hands, in other age groups, like for example, if you are more than 40 years old, 50 something, you would prefer to live in houses that it's like because all of your friends or people who are around your age live in houses also, right? So it's like a peer pressure, isn't it? Nó giống như là một cái áp lực đồng trang lứa đó. So what do you think about it? Why do some people like to live in tall buildings? Why? Oh, some others they like to live in houses nowadays.
Well, I think the reason why some people, they like to live in tall buildings is because they want to enjoy the view from above, and also it can be a trend. For example, when you live in tall buildings, it's you can see the whole city very clearly, and also in on New Year's Eve you can see the fireworks more clearer than people who live in houses, and you don't have to move too much to see the performance. Um, but and also living in tall buildings, it is a trend. Many people choose to live in tall buildings because they can
Because they're friends, because of the neighbors who are friends with them, they also live in tall buildings, right?
yeah, and they they can be influenced by their friends' choice to live in the tall buildings, so they will follow them and start to live in tall building as well.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are many people who prefer to live in houses. I think it's because I think it's
Yes.
because they feel a sense of like security when they live in houses.
Hmm.
Like the house is, or it can be about peer pressure as well, because maybe their friends or their families they choose to live in house, so they want so they so I think they will follow the idea of living in houses of their family or relatives or friends. So,
All right. So we're done with number 6 now. Okay, let's try something else. Number 7 is pretty much the same thing now. So let's try number 10 then. Describe something interesting you saw on social media. That's number 10. You should say when it was, when you saw it, what you saw, and explain why you think it was interesting. That's something interesting you saw on social media. And then we have part 3 of social media. Social media. So why do people like to use social media? Social media includes like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, uh, Zoom, and also like X, that's a new social media, X. Um, Social media also include anything that people hang out there and then get information from. Like for example, TV is also social media. Newspapers also, radio, yes. Um, And why do people like to use them? Is it to get to be informed about many events that happen around the world and in their local areas? Is it to, how can I say, to stay connected? Is it to stay connected with other peoples? Is it to get informed about social affairs, you know? Or just basically a lot of people, they use social media simply to kill time because they have so much free time, then maybe. And think about, sometimes they use social media for their business, of course. Like, for example, people contact me for work, people contact me for study because they know me through my YouTube videos, for example. Right. Okay. So what kinds of things are popular on social media? You should think about a lot of things like online dramas. Of course, a lot of online dramas on social media these days. Online dramas, memes, educational content. Think about what's it called? Post about investment. A lot of them. Post about investment, Bitcoin, something like that, you know. And of course, you have personal post. And beside from that, on social media, there's a lot of people posting, how can I say, vacation pictures, and gym pictures, of course. If you follow some people, they will post like daily, you know, their gym pictures. Nhiều người ta có thói quen mà một ngày không đăng không được á. It's like they go to the gym, they take like several pictures every single day, you know? So think about that. And what do you think about those posts? Are they helpful for people? Are they helpful in any way? Are they helping people to learn new skills? Are they helping people to become better version of themselves? Something like that. And then next one, what do you think of making friends on social network? Of course, it can be good, it can be bad. Remember that. So you should try to be open-minded in this question. And why shouldn't people trust everything they see on social media? Of course, think about fake news. There's a lot of fake news. Think about a lot of AI or artificial intelligence with artificial intelligence AI, people can create a lot of fake posts, fake news, you know. It's called AI generated content. A lot of content can be so fake and it's so unrealistic that makes people so angry when they read them, you know. And it's all over the news these days because of AI. So you shouldn't trust everything you see on social media. I mean, and also, you know, people always try to tweak or edit their pictures before posting. And of course, when you see them in real life, they don't look like that. Of course, they don't. Oh, well, next one. Do you think that the media is contributing a lot to the development of countries? Think about businesses. Could it survive without social media? Without advertising their products? Advertising their products online? Could businesses survive? Could people find work partners? Could people find employees and employers? You know? Does that help in education? Does it help people to learn new skills? Does it help teachers to teach students? Something like that. And sometimes, you know, social media also help in defense too, you know? Quốc phòng. Like during the Ukraine war, have you ever heard about it? Some soldiers, they posted online things. And as a result, the opposition, they bombard They bombard the enemy position and kill them all. You know? Đăng lên trên mạng, xong cái quân Nga, lính Nga đăng lên trên mạng, xong lính Ukraine dội bom đúng chỗ đó luôn. It was like, you know, sometimes social media can kill you if you're not careful. So those story actually sometimes they contribute to the development of your country. Yes. And also, you know, people can use social media to export their culture, giống như xuất khẩu văn hóa. They export their culture, like especially the Korean culture, you know, you have seen them so, they do it so well, you know, and Japanese culture as well, Chinese culture as well. Now, so what do you think are the roles of the media in our modern world? Anh chị nghĩ gì về vai trò của mạng xã hội, truyền thông trong thế giới hiện đại của chúng ta ngày nay? Well, it sounds just like a question that is asked in a beauty contest, you know, giống như là câu hỏi lúc mà đi thi hoa hậu đó. What do you think are the roles of the media in our modern world? It means do they play a significant role? Do they play a pivotal or vital or essential role in our modern world or not? And why? Can we live without them? Có sống thiếu nó được không? All right. So do you think there is anything people can do to have a cleaner and healthier social media environment? Anh chị có nghĩ rằng có cách nào để con người ta có được một cái môi trường mạng xã hội sạch hơn, lành mạnh hơn không? Well, you can think about reporting fake post or abusive posts, you know. Or people can actually, there actually something called censorship, you know. Censorship, sự kiểm duyệt. So people can censor content. People can censor contents they see online that is inappropriate. Inappropriate contents, you know, can be censored. And there's also is something called verification of news. Verification of news. So kiểm chứng thông tin. So people can verify people can verify the news, like whether it's correct or not. They can just report posts. They say if there's some posts are fake, people at that local area, they can report, you know. In that way, you can have a healthier and cleaner social media environment, and you won't see like trash, so much trash online, you know. And also think about cyberbullying. Cyberbullying happens a lot, bị bắt nạt trên mạng. It happens a lot in many different forms. One of the form is just to, it's called cancel culture. You know, have you ever heard about cancel culture?
No.
Okay, search for what cancel culture is. You will probably be very surprised at what you saw. Cancel culture. Cancel culture is a cultural phenomenon in which an individual deemed to have acted or spoken in an unacceptable manner is ostracized, boycotted, shunned, fired, or assaulted, often aided by social media. Giống như là cái nền văn hóa cancel culture là một cái hiện tượng văn hóa mà trong đó một cá nhân mà bị coi như là đã hành xử hay nói năng một cái cách mà không chấp nhận được thì cái người đó là bị ostracize, giống như là bị cách ly ra khỏi xã hội, bị tẩy chay, bị giống như là đuổi việc hay là bị tấn công luôn ở trên mạng, thường được trợ giúp bởi mạng xã hội. So these things often happens. For example, if you say something very wrong online, a lot of people is going to try to put you down, you know. Actually, it's a bad thing. It's unhealthy because why? It does not, cancel culture actually, it does not promote individuality, tính cá nhân. It does not promote individuality and freedom of speech. Nó không có ủng hộ cái chuyện mà mỗi người có tính cá nhân, và nó không ủng hộ cái quyền mà tự do ngôn luận. Because why? If you say something wrong, if you say something it's called unpopular opinions, những cái nhận định cá nhân của mình mà nó không có hợp lòng người khác. If you say unpopular opinions, you probably will get ostracized. People will boycott you. That is also something called cancel culture, you know. Some people they get depressed and they commit suicide, you know. Nhiều người ta tự tử luôn á. Because nobody protecting them, you know. And they get boycotted, and then even their family doesn't support them, you know. It's very unhealthy. All right, so yeah. Think about those things. So basically cyberbullying should be dealt with. Việc bắt nạt trên mạng bắt buộc là phải được đương đầu nha. It must be dealt with. Otherwise there will be dire consequences. There will be dire consequences. Nó sẽ có những cái hậu quả khôn lường, rất là kinh khủng. All right, so you should think about this one now. Okay, Mr. Please describe something interesting you saw on social media, can you?
So I'm going to talk about an occasion when I found something really interesting on Facebook. Well, about a month ago, when I was surfing Facebook, and I came across a video sharing about a couple who spent a lot of the time saving stray and abandoned dogs and cats from the streets in my city, in Nambic City. Well, they are middle-aged couple, and they say that they have been homeless for a long time in their life. And when they see stray dogs and cats, they feel like they have to save them and have to rescue them from the need to have a home, as they have experienced that before, and they didn't want the animals to experience something as terrible as they have. And although they do not have a complete home, but they still care a lot about the poor animals and give them as much love as possible, and also give them shelter when the weather's bad. And what made me feel so touched was that even though they weren't rich, or they didn't have a big house, but their love for animals were unchangeable. And when interviewed, they
Their
even said
love
that,
for animal undying.
yeah,
I think it's better to use the word undying instead of the word unchangeable, you know. It means their love for animals will not die. Undying, it's a better word in that case, I think. It means undying, it's actually emphasize the fact that doesn't matter what happened, they will still love animals. Doesn't matter what. But the word unchangeable, I don't think it has that kind of connotations, you know. Doesn't have that idea. Cái từ undying nó ủng hộ cái chuyện là dù có bất kỳ chuyện xảy ra, người ta vẫn sẽ rất yêu thương mấy con động vật đó. Nó tập trung vào cái chuyện đó đó. So basically, I think the word undying is better. Okay, let's continue from there.
yeah. And when interviewed, the couple said that they feel like it was their life mission as a pet savior, and they feel extremely happy when they could help those mistreated and abandoned animals. And I think this is a content that is extremely interesting to me, and it also conveys messages about loving animals and we should never mistreat our four-legged companions, and I think that's something interesting that I saw on social media.
Okay, very good. Now, so why do people like to use social media then?
Well, there are many reasons why people like to use social media. They can use it for business, for work, or for recreation, or sometimes just to be updated about social events. As a matter of fact, social media they play a crucial role in they play a crucial role in giving information for people all around the world. So people would they and people like to use it to keep themselves informed about uh, the social events about around the world. And it is also extremely convenient for them to use because they do not have to carry much. Maybe they just use a phone or a computer to keep themselves informed. And also they like to use social media as a kind of entertainment.
Yes.
There are many contents on social media to entertain people, such as many videos on YouTube or on Facebook, and they serve as an important tool to keep people relaxed and joyful. Also, there are many people who use social media for their work, such as they use Facebook or Instagram for their work, and they contact with their clients through those platforms. So I think that's why people they like to use social media.
Okay. And what kinds of things are popular on social media then?
Well, I think there are various things that are popular on social media. Well, I think on top the most popular can be online dramas uh, or events because social media they play a crucial role in keeping people informed, and many a huge number of people they rely much on social media to get themselves information about uh, about events around the world, such as about political events.
Political.
Yeah, political events.
Political, careful. So the
Political.
noun form is politics. The noun form is politics, chính chị. The adjective form is political. Political. Political events. It's political events.
Yeah, and social media they update those news extremely fast for people.
It's extremely fast. Basically, if it happens immediately within like a minute, it will be online.
Yeah.
Less than a minute, actually. It will be online and everyone will be commenting on it and things like that. Well, so what else then?
And
What about the
also
contents?
there are many personal posts or educational content that are also
Content.
popular on social media. Well, education, as the technology is developing, and many people they depend on social media to study or to learn something new. So Social media, they have all kinds of different contents about education that can be useful for many people. Uh, so actually, there are many uh, channels on YouTube,
Mhm.
and they emphasize on education, or how to be productive, or how to get high scores.
Mm.
So
Actually, they
they
are
can
quite
be a source
helpful,
of
yeah.
education, yeah, for many people.
Okay, so what are the advantages and disadvantages of using social media then?
Well, about the advantages of using social media, it is that you can,
There's a noise. I don't know. I think
yeah,
there's a
actually,
noise coming from your side. Let me just try to eliminate them with crispy. Okay, can you say something now?
yeah, well, about the
Can you
advantages
say
of,
something now? I
yes,
don't hear anything weird.
can you hear
Tại
me?
sao chỉnh này qua nó lại không? Is it like a speaker here? But it seems like crispy is eliminating um moment. Crispy speaker. I think it should work now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear perfectly. I think it should work now because sometimes I don't know why. I have to change the setting of my program Crispy. So I think it's Zoom. Yeah, sometimes it automatically change the setting of all the programs. Okay, I hear you perfectly. No noise, whatever, whatsoever now. Okay, please continue.
Well, about the advantages of using social media, you can be quickly updated about the social affairs around the
Mhm.
world. And it is really convenient that you don't have to carry around many items to keep you informed.
Mhm.
And also, you can be entertained by many contents on social media. Like there are many recreational content on YouTube or on Facebook that help you relax after that helps you relax and stay away from stress. But also, in terms of the disadvantages, you sometimes you can rely too much on social media. You probably will use those platforms such as Facebook or Instagram or YouTube too much, and it can result in your in poorer health condition, or
Mhm.
lesser time for your relationships in real life.
I see.
And gradually, if you continue to use it for a long time and
It
you
can damage
ignore,
your relationship,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Damage your friendship with your friends, something like that. Well, that's it's good to strike a balance. Phải đạt được một
yeah.
trạng thái cân bằng. You need to strike a balance between using social media and your real life. You have to go and meet people. Anyway, so what do you think of making friends on social network then? Is it a good idea?
Well, I think it can be a good idea to make friends on social network if you know how to if you know how to choose good friends.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, friends on social network, you will not. They can be fake or they can be real, and it when you make friends on when you make friends online, it's probably hard for you to understand that person's personality, or like whether they are using you or whether they truly want to be your friend. There are many cases of when you make friends online and uh, they deceive you, and then you lose both the friendship and
Scammers are
sometimes,
everywhere online these days. People have to
yeah,
understand that scammers, fraudsters and scammers. They are everywhere online these days. And especially online, you cannot really trust people that much. All right, so why shouldn't people trust everything they see on social media?
Well, I think the reason is that on social media there can be fake news and or scams, or some people they just try to attract attention by creating um, inappropriate content for people. Uh, on social media, people they there are many cases of people they post fake news so that people will believe it, and it can attract fame for those people.
Mhm.
And users they can suffer from uh, like they and they will not know where who to trust, and they
Exactly.
may
Trust
like
is such a luxury, yeah?
yeah.
Trust is such a luxury you cannot afford sometimes because, online everything looks so fancy and so fake and so fake. It's unreal. It's so fancy and fake and unreal, but in fact, people use apps a lot in order to edit or modify their pictures so it looks so beautiful. So that's why you shouldn't trust everything you see on social media, or they can use apps to make things look worse in order to cause a public outrage, sự phẫn nộ quần chúng, gây ra sự phẫn nộ quần chúng about some issues. They can just exaggerate. They can just exaggerate an issue so that it can cause public outrage for their own benefits. Lợi dụng để mà nó tạo ra những cái drama trên mạng đó. These things happen a lot. Exaggerate a problem so that it makes the public become so hyped. So there are also a lot of people who do that because they want people to pay attention to their websites. They want people to pay attention to their companies. So that's why they create online dramas. And this is one of the way. It's called manipulation. Sự thao túng tâm lý, sự thao túng. Now, so do you think that the media is contributing a lot to the development of countries?
Well, I think the media is contributing a lot to the development of countries as a result of the growth of technology.
Mhm.
So many people they rely much on the media to get information. So many companies in many countries use social they use the media to uh, advertise about advertise their new products,
Mhm.
and this way they can gain a lot of attraction to their company, so that many people will purchase their products.
Purchase là sao em? Purchase. Careful.
Purchase.
Purchase. Purchase. Many people will purchase, 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 purchase. Okay.
Yeah.
People will try to purchase what?
To purchase their products, and it can increase their sales.
Hmm.
Moreover, through the media, countries can attract a lot of investment in their country in many fields, such as education or business, to through the media. They can uh, post a lot of information about their current situation of
Mhm.
some aspects in the country, and they will try to attract the investors' attention, so that they will invest in the country, and it helps to boost the country's economy.
Okay, very well. Now, so what do you think are the roles of the media in our modern world? Can we live without them?
I think in our modern world, the media play uh, play an essential role. Uh, as well, along with the development of technology, the media is increasing its popularity as well, and many people uh, depend on depend much on the media to to they depend much on the media to keep themselves informed or to entertain themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the media has become extremely important in everyone's daily life. And without the media, I think it is hard. I think people cannot stand without the media. It will be extremely hard for them to keep themselves informed. Rather than getting information from the media, they will they will get receive information by word of mouth, and sometimes it is sometimes you cannot believe uh, that source of information. Um, and also without the media, it's hard to entertain yourself, as on the media
Themselves.
themselves. Yeah, and because the media, they provide a large number of activities for people to do, such as uh, watch a video on YouTube, or you can watch films on your phone or your computer without having to travel too far to the cinema. So I think if without the media, it will be really inconvenient for many people. So the media, I think, in our modern world, they are extremely important.
I see. Now, do you think there's anything people can do to have a cleaner and healthier social media environment then?
Well, I think there are many ways that people can do to have a cleaner and healthier social media environment.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first and the most important thing is censorship uh, from the social platforms, and also from and from countries.
Mm-hmm.
Before posting any content on the social media, they have those contents. They have to go through a lot of procedures to just to verify whether they are appropriate or not to post on the social media, so that people, they will not mistake the content, and they will not be influenced by the bad content.
Content, right?
Yeah, and also
Content.
when people they are exposed to an unhealthy content, they can report it and report it to the they can report it, and the social media managers they can go through the contents and will decide to delete it or have like or to find the people who upload those contents.
To upload those contents, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, I think it's good enough for this topic. Let's move on to something a bit more difficult. All right, so like I said, we can explore something with history now. So let's try a few of them first. So you see, 71, 72, and 73 are well related. They're all about history. So 71, let's try it first. 71, describe a historical building that you are interested in. Let's try this one, where you should say where it is. Why are you interested? Why you are interested in it? What's the story is behind this building? And do you often visit it? Explain what you feel about the building. Let's try this one first. And Ms. Tu, please describe a historical building you are interested in.
So I'm going to talk about a remarkable historical building that I am interested in, which
Interested in.
is the Independence Palace, located in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. It holds great significance to in my country's history during and originally it was named differently, but after the victory, it, it was renamed as the Independence Palace, and it has had this name for since. And this place it has a unique mixture of modern and traditional Vietnamese architecture, and it has a vast garden in front of it, and the building itself is extremely large. In the past, it played a crucial role in Vietnam's history. It served as a site of political events and was a symbol of power and authority. And at present, with a huge amount, with a huge number of visitors every day, it stands as a historical landmark
Mhm.
and museum, providing the visitors with an insight into the past
Mhm.
by the by the artifacts and photographs and documents that portrayed the Vietnam War era.
Mhm.
And
Even though that
I
era
have a
is not
deep,
so good, even though that era is very bloody and lots of people died there, but
yeah,
still people need to learn about it.
and I have a deep appreciation for for the Independence Palace. It represents the resilience and determination of Vietnamese people in our struggle for independence. And I am also really grateful to many soldiers who have sacrificed themselves for our country.
Mhm. Good, good, good. Now, so, all right, that's good enough. Now let's move on to 72. Now we are not talking about historical building anymore. So I'm sure you have already um, well how can I say? I'm sure you already know, like, what's the difference between historic and historical, right? Historic mean they are very important when it comes to history, but historical only mean is only an adjective of history. Một cái historic là quan trọng về mặt lịch sử, còn historical chỉ là liên quan lịch sử thôi, một tính từ của chữ lịch sử. Okay, so number 72, describe a historical figure or person that you are interested in. Miêu tả một cái nhân vật lịch sử mà bạn hứng thú. You should say who the person is, what they did, why you are interested in that person, why they were important in history, and explain how you feel about that person. Okay. This is a bit harder. Okay, please describe a historical figure or historical person that you are interested in.
So I'm going to talk about President Ho Chi Minh, who is who was a prominent leader of Vietnam. He is he was he spent 30 years of his life traveling around the world in order to learn and experience many things, so that when he returned to our country, he could help to save
To
the country.
rebuild, to save our country from the
Save
dark past, right?
Yes.
To save our country from slavery, because we were being, by that time, we were being occupied by the French. We were being occupied by the French back then, and it's hard to find a way to save our country. But back then, there were a lot of problems with our country. Our country were very, a lot of things was obsolete. Our equipment were obsolete. There were no real infrastructure. Actually, a lot of infrastructures around the north of Vietnam to the south of Vietnam was built by the French. Back then, it was more than 100 years already, you know. Actually, 150 years. And a lot of them still stand, you know, still good. Okay, please continue now.
And he spent 30 years of his life traveling to learn to save our country. And he is also well known for living a simple life and spending all his time fighting for the independence of the nation and the happiness of Vietnamese people. And although he went through a lot of difficulties when traveling, because he had to work hard and because he had to work really hard and in foreign nations, but with his resilience and patriotism, he came back to Vietnam with innovative ideas to improve the situations of the country at that time, to eliminate the invaders. He, till the end of his life, he always thought about helping other people and not worried about sacrifice his time or
Sacrificing, yes.
not sacrificing his time and his youth for the sake of the country. And now I really admire his personality.
And dedication, right?
Yeah, and dedication to our country. And nowadays there are also many memorials of President Ho Chi Minh in my country and also in many different countries
Exactly.
to honor one of the
Remember,
greatest
this is only
men
2
in
minutes for
history.
this question, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so for part 2, I think you should be a bit, how can I say, faster because you have only 2 minutes, remember? Now, so we have part 3 now. Describe a historical event that you are interested in. Now it's a bit more difficult. Event. So you have to talk about battles. You have to talk about some events are very peaceful. Like for example, the September the 2nd of 1945, when the Declaration of Independence, tuyên ngôn độc lập, the Declaration of Independence was declared by President Ho Chi Minh himself. You know, that is a historical event. It doesn't have to be bloody, or it doesn't have to be a battle, you know? It doesn't have to be a war. It can be any event like that. So other kind of event, like for example, you can talk about when our last king, how can I say, you know, Bao Dai is our last king in Vietnam. Or you can talk about historical event in other country. You don't always have to talk about Vietnam, you know. When our last king gave up his power and he gave it to the present government of Vietnam or something, that's also a historical event. Historical events, of course, involve historical figures in there, what they do, you know. Okay, you should say when and where the event happened, who were involved in the event, what the historical significance or historical meaning of the event is. Sự kiện lịch sử đó, ý nghĩa lịch sử nó là gì? Explain how you feel about the event. Bạn cảm thấy gì về cái sự kiện đó? And you have part 3 of history now. Surprisingly, there are only a few questions for part 3 of history. What is or what are the best way or ways can people learn about history? What are the best ways to learn about history? Những cách nào tốt nhất để học lịch sử nè? Like think about what we learned before. I think I'm sure you've watched my videos before, right? Do you think visiting museums to learn about history is a good idea? Why not? Of course, it depends on how you learn new things, you know. Not everyone is interested in museums. Why should children and people learn about history? Think about how they can avoid, or how they can avoid repeating the same mistakes in the past. Like one big mistakes that Vietnamese people used to commit a mistake, that is to close our country, and we didn't try to learn from the world. We didn't try to learn new technology. That is the reason why when the French invaded our country was very weak, you know. Now we have to learn from that mistake. But a lot of people, they don't learn. Anyway, so what do you think about the teaching of history in the school system of your country? Well, it's a bit political, yeah, but you can talk about it, no problem. This is just IELTS, you know. It tests your ability to use English. Remember that. Oh. Okay, so Mr. please describe a historical event that you are interested in. Remember, keep it 2 minutes.
So I'm going to talk about one of the most important events, historical events, in my country, which is the time when President Ho Chi Minh read the Declaration of Independence. It's that, and it has a significant importance in my country.
Because from that time on, Vietnam became an independent country, right?
Fully independent. This event took place on September the 2nd, 1945. And on that day, it that was the date of making our freedom, and thousands of people gathered at Batting Square to listen to the Declaration of Independence. For almost 100 years, uh, we had to, we were under the control of the French, and Vietnamese people have Vietnamese people were uneducated and had to sacrifice their health in order
Mm-hmm.
in order to work for the inhumane activities of the French.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the great hardships, they we were the people at that time. They were still able to unite and keep fighting. And although a lot of them, millions of people had died, but their actions they live forever.
Mm-hmm.
And this event they it this event it strikes as a mark. It is a milestone to mark our independence, our freedom from the French. And uh, personally, I am truly grateful to all the soldiers who overcame great hardships and fought bravely with their life, so that I can enjoy a better life now.
Okay, very good now. Okay, but let's do the part three now. So what are the best ways to learn about history then?
Well, I think there are two main ways that is good to learn about history. Uh, I think it should be a balance between learning through books and also visiting historical sites. Um, Learning at school, we can learn about history through books because it gives us fundamental information about about history. It gives us information about the dates or the leaders who have fought in those events. And also, when we have learned the when we have learned about those information, I think we should visit historical sites and experience and see the artifacts ourselves, so that we will have a deeper insight into the history. And I think it is it it should to learn about history. Those two methods should be balanced.
Hmm. Okay, so do you think visiting museums to learn about history is a good idea? Why not?
Well, I think visiting museums to learn about history, uh, whether it is a good idea or not, it depends on each individual, whether they like to learn that way or not. For example, student, there are many people who love visiting museums and see the artifacts in person, and so that they will have a deeper understanding about the history, and it helps them to remember the events better. However, there are many people who do who do not take interest in visiting museums to learn about history, and they think it is uh, really boring, and it is really boring, and they and visiting museums offers them nothing but waste of time. Um, I think visiting museums to learn about history can be a good idea if it is for the right people who actually want to do it. It depends on uh, each person.
Okay, so why should children and people learn about history then?
Well, I think the reason why children and people have to should learn about history is because it helps them to um, learn from the mistakes and also to cherish the moments that they have at the moment. For example, in history, there are many mistakes that many nations made, and uh, when learning about history, people and children they can avoid those mistakes, and um,
They
they
can
can
avoid
avoid
the
those
same mistake that our grandfathers and our ancestors
ancestors.
made, right?
Yeah. Uh, and also, when learning about history, people will have a deeper insight into how hard people have how hard people lived in the past, and how hard they had to fight for their life to survive. So that when people learn about history, they will appreciate what they are having right now, and they will cherish every moment and be grateful for to the people who have fought bravely for them to have a better life right now.
I see. Now, so what do you think about the teaching of history in the school system of Vietnam then? Should it be improved and how could it be improved somehow?
Well, I think the teaching of history in the school system in my country it is quite acceptable. However, I think there should be some changes the to this aspect. I think in the school curriculum, uh, the subject contains a lot of information, a lot of valuable information, and pretty detailed. Uh, they contain valuable and detailed information about history, about the events of both domestic events and events around the world, and they give a quite deep insight into those into the history. But however, I think they still rely too much on books, and they the students they
Remember the
do not
books,
have a
you
chance
you
to.
remember you must remember one thing. It's the victors that write history. It's the victors that get to write history, not the losers, you know? So basically, when you want to know the truth, it's actually better to seek the people who lose the war, you know? I just want to say that. Anything else?
Mm, and I think people should be exposed to like some artifacts rather than just stay inside of the school and learn about it through pictures and through pictures. So, because I think seeing the sites in person, it will help the students to have a better experience when they study, and sometimes it will help them to remember those events better than when they just look at books or learn the information inactively.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is the teaching of history in my country is quite acceptable, but it is better that uh, they should also balance between studying through books and studying through some historical sites.
Okay. Okay, it's good enough for today, I guess. All right, so it's about band 6.5, but some topics you managed to get to band 7, yeah. All right, good enough, good enough. Good, good. So far, so good.